So The Marvels is Marvel's brand new movie, which is probably going to be their last movie for a while. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. This review will be spoiler free. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should watch this. I'm not going to say definitely watch this. One, yes, is the obvious. You should definitely watch out of respect from what I'm about to tell you, because real recognize real, right? Authenticity. We're talking about authenticity here. And then I'm going to give you a bunch of negatives. Let's just get right to it. So we'll be spoiler free. Let's get right to it now. I'm going to give you a brief plot. Excuse me. We still fighting through the cold, the cough, but I think we're getting better. So the plot. Now this is technically a sequel from Captain Marvel, the first movie that's based on the main superhero, Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson. And that movie did have mixed reviews, but pretty much Captain Marvel does have superpowers very similar to Superman, for example. She just has this unlimited energy where she is very powerful, very strong. But now we have 2 other characters that have similar power to hers, and they're all allies, right? So you have Monica Rambeau, played by Teyonah Parris, and she was originated in the original movie with Captain Marvel as a little girl, because that was about 30 years ago. So pretty much her and Captain Marvel are pretty much family because her mother was best friends with Captain Marvel. So as you can see, Monica Rambeau looked up to Captain Marvel as like a auntie or whatever you want to call it. So pretty much, fast forward now, Monica Rambeau's much older. They're pretty much the same age, although I think once Captain Marvel got her powers, I don't think she ages anymore. So pretty much Monica Rambeau was in the TV show for freaking WandaVision, and her powers is pretty much she could, I'm not going to break down the scientific terms that the actress did. Shout outs to the actress, because I mean, those lines, I can't even tell you the lines that she used with all the scientific terms, but pretty much she could see like electromagnetic fields and she's not as powerful as Captain Marvel, but she still has a unique power, which does make her qualified to be known as a superhero. So much respect to that. But then you have an unknown, a new superhero, as in Miss Marvel, aka Kamala Khan, aka Iman Vellani, which is the actress name. And this is the newest one. She's way younger than the other 2, and she got her powers from her own spin-off show on Disney Plus, Miss Marvel. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but pretty much this new movie is based around Miss Marvel, because Miss Marvel, she has her powers from this wrist bracelet. Pretty much it was passed down randomly from her grandmother, but little does she know it has these special powers, and now she has the ability to form objects that are physical, such as if she's fallen from the sky, she could create like a physical platform to land on, or she could throw a physical punch that's 10 times the size of her fist. So she has those unique abilities, and all 3, although they're very similar, they're also different. And the whole point of this movie is that somehow, when they each use their power, they transport to wherever the other person is in space and time. So if Captain Marvel's on another planet and one of them uses their power, they'll unknowingly end up switching places. So if Miss Marvel, she's a teenager, if she's in her room or she's hanging out with her family, out of nowhere, Captain Marvel will show up in the living room, and poor Miss Marvel, the teenager, will be up in space somewhere, screaming, crying, don't know why or how the hell she got there. So I did find that very humorous, very interesting. So that's the plot line, and that's a brief background, obviously, of the other characters that I just gave you. And the reason why this is all happening, because there's a villain, a new generic villain. Yes, generic, but she found the other wrist bracelet. So pretty much there's 2 bracelets, and the villain needs to find the other bracelet. This way she could be extremely powerful and pretty much control like space and time and do whatever the hell she wants. But she does have an interesting backstory behind it, although not that interesting. Definitely generic for sure. So that was definitely, I don't want to call it a rant, but it was definitely a long ass run-on sentence. This is what happens when I don't write my scripts for even the plot lines. I'm just rambling, right? So I hope that all made sense, how I gave you a brief backstory on Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Miss Marvel. But I'm gonna get into the 3 pros right now, the 3 reasons why you need to watch it. Very quick, I'm not playing around, let's just get right to it. The first reason, looking back on this film after I've watched it, I wasn't even gonna mention this, but I think we do have to give credit to the musical score. I did think that the score was pretty good in this movie, especially when you hear Captain Marvel's theme, or the theme for this movie. I thought it was a very epic score and a very memorable score in regards to that superhero genre of music with the orchestra. So I would give the music a pro. Something you definitely want to hold on to as you're listening, because visually you're not missing much. So we take what we could get nowadays, right? So pro number two, very simple, very straightforward, is the runtime. This movie is like an hour and 45 minutes. What the hell? They don't even make movies like that anymore. Usually Marvel's 2 hours, 20 minutes. They must have watched my review because, we need to lower the runtime for these movies. Good for them. Not saying that, it worked out for them, but it worked out for me. An hour and 45 minutes, I'll take it. Thank you. I watched it. I went home. I didn't have to stay too long. I even saw online before that there's no end credit scene, so I didn't risk it. I saw the mid credit scene and I left right after that. Don't even stay to the very end credits because there is none. At least that's what I heard. Sorry, I didn't stay for it. But the mid credit scene, absolutely, I'm gonna get to that later. So the runtime, hour and 45, y'all can't beat that. Although I do think it's still a movie to watch at home on Disney Plus. I think it would have done better on Disney Plus rather than a theatrical release. But now my third pro or main reason, this is the obvious one. If you've watched this, you already know. All the reviews I've watched from my peers, they say the same exact thing. Now, unless this comedy is a hit or miss entirely, I think for the most part, due to the actress's performance, it's a major hit. And this is in regards to the actress, Iman Vellani, aka the character, what's her name? Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. Now, she did have her own series on Disney Plus, and I enjoyed that series for the most part. It got corny once you start getting to the teenage drama. I'm not a huge fan of that due to like who I am at my age. Don't care for the high school teenage drama, but her as a character in regards to being a new superhero, but also as like an innocent teenager, you could tell that this actress was just having the time of her life, bringing out that performance. Like she just genuinely was happy to be there. And that's what me and many other people are saying. It's like, was that just her doing an amazing job, or is that her also as a fan, acting, being part of the MCU? Because she was nothing but funny in every scene, in my opinion, just very genuine, very funny. Because you have Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, who are kind of conflicting characters because Monica Rambeau hasn't seen her in like 30 years or 20 years. So there is like a little conflict there where they're both kind of serious and they're both trying to solve this crisis with the villain trying to, gain all this power. But then you have like innocent Miss Marvel that's just so happy to be there on her first like Avengers task. And every scene, I mean, I really look forward to this actress in the future MCU. I think characters and actors like this and Loki are like really the saviors. These other actors in the MCU or characters, maybe it's just the writing they're given, such as the other two, Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel. I feel like it's half their performances, but it's half of their performance, but half the lines they're given. I do think Brie Larson, I hear she's an amazing actress in other works. I haven't watched any other work from her, but I hear she's brilliant. But in this character, Captain Marvel, it's just so freaking bland, and she's trying to show emotions at the same time with crying, and I'm just not really buying it. But I don't know. I don't know if she could turn this character around to get the fans' appreciation and love for her, because it's just falling flat in my opinion. And Monica Rambeau, I mean, I'm a big fan of her from WandaVision. In this movie, I wouldn't say they pushed her to the side, but I feel like she could have got more screen time, or maybe her powers would be more intense or serious. But due to the mid-credit scene, I think Monica Rambeau, or I know, based on the mid-credit scene, this character is going to lead the way. So I do hope the actress keeps, pushing the boundaries and making more of an effort and impact, because I do think the character does have potential. But don't let Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel distract you, okay? The third pro, which is Miss Marvel, is the main reason why you need to watch this movie if you even care to. Because Miss Marvel pushes it for Miss Marvel is what makes this movie. I mean, her just genuine, authentic charisma and just happiness to be there. And also when she's ready to fight or do what she can do, because she is a new superhero, she's new to this. She does what she can do, and you have nothing as a fan but appreciation for her work. But onto the negatives. There's a lot of negatives. I don't want to be here forever talking about it, because it could go on forever and ever and ever, infinite. But this channel, Infinite Media Play, we don't want to talk too much about the negative stuff. We want to try to keep it positive over here. But let's just start talking about it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you watch a few MCU movies, there's this cat, and apparently this cat has like tentacles. It's like half cat on the outside, octopus on the inside. I don't know, but it could pretty much swallow any physical being And I thought they're dead once inside, but they could spit them back out apparently. But so it's not an innocent cat. This is like a killer cat. And they made a joke about it in one of the movies, like a little 5-minute joke. Now they made it into like a 20, 30-minute bit. I mean, I'm telling you, this is like a major part of this movie where they have these cats wilding the F out. I mean, wilding out, like going crazy. I think if you're a cat person, you love this type of stuff. Anyone who's a cat person, oh my God, a cat, you love it, right? I'm a dog person, but I'm not a dog person. I'm a my dog person. Let me know if anyone else is like that. But I think a lot of dog people are dog people. I might be the only dog person who's a my dog person. I don't care about the dogs. Enough for the dogs, enough for the cats. Didn't care for the cats. But now I do, like, I wouldn't, okay, see, I don't want to spoil it, but they go to this planet where these people speak this language. Once you find out what that language is, it's a hit or miss. Either you find it enjoyable, laughable, or you find it cringy as hell. I was trying to fight in my mind that the enjoyable and the cringiness. The cringiness because I felt like this type of planet, Marvel has all these crazy planets and aliens. I feel like this type of planet did not belong in this movie. I swear, if they put this type of planet with these people in their language, it would have been perfect in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That would have been a perfect place to put this planet. That's a lot of P's. Pushing P. Anyways, let's keep it pushing. Because Captain Marvel, I mean, it doesn't really have an identity. Like, it's not a corny comedy like Thor. He's a corny dude, kind of. Or Chris Pratt, Star-Lord. Captain Marvel, I thought, was a more serious character. Yeah, Miss Marvel is kind of like on the corny side. But they threw in this random scene where these people they're wilding out like the cats. I'm telling you, this planet, I did have a few moments laughing, mainly at Miss Marvel, because when she shows up, you know, she's going with it. When they show up to this planet, look at Miss Marvel, because I think we can all relate to Miss Marvel. Like, turn up whenever you can nowadays. But it just felt out of place. Wasn't a big fan of that. Although I liked the idea, I did like the concept. Now, the acting, for the most part, it just kind of felt very bland, very dry. Was not a fan of the acting in this movie. I felt like they could have did better. The directing and editing felt pretty basic, pretty sloppy. I mean, there was a few shots where I'm like, dang, really? That's it? Like, just basic shots where I'm like, nah, they could do better than that. It just seemed very, like they didn't care enough. Even with the edits. And I think the editing problem is probably because they shaved off so much time due to all the criticism about Marvel, how the movies are not performing well, they're too long. So for them to cut it down to an hour and 45 minutes, I think that probably did take away from some of the story. But hey, because they did that, I gave it a pro. That's good. Cut it down. Next time, do it better. That's what I'm saying. Now, I guess the last main negative, main con, you could tell from the previews, and this is no diss to the actress. I'm sure she did the best she could, but it's the villain in this movie. The villain comes out of nowhere. It's like a generic villain from another villain. I was not intimidated at all. I almost found it a joke. I did find the backstory somewhat interesting of why she was doing what she was doing, but she was not powerful at all. Yet somehow she was taking on all three of the other superheroes. I did find those battle sequences kind of cool, how they were switching powers, but overall, every time I saw this actor's face, I just was not buying into any evilness, hatred. I see the attempt there. I just felt like there was no, I don't know, I just felt like there was no point for us as an audience to care what this villain was doing. Although I understand the long backstory, but it's almost like in this movie, they throw it all at you expecting you to care. Carol Danvers, which is also Captain Marvel's real name, she goes like on this whole emotional 5-minute monologue about why she did something that caused that villain to act like this, and I just wasn't buying into any of that stuff. There just wasn't really many emotions in this movie to engage with the audience. I think some people did find the movie funny. That's the thing, they like Marvel with the comedy, right? This movie, they added so much more comedy than I expected. I did laugh at a few jokes, but mainly every time Miss Marvel made an appearance, because it just felt very genuine and it felt worthy of the context. I guess there was one joke I did almost laugh. I kind of did laugh out loud. I'm gonna spoil it real quick. Nothing serious, but they're all kind of falling from the sky or whatever, trying to like save each other. But then I guess last minute, Captain Marvel falls and hits the ground, and Samuel L. Jackson's character's there. He's like, "Oh, that's just Carol." So I guess because he was really worried about Miss Marvel, because she's the innocent teenager that doesn't really know her powers. Even Monica Rambeau, she can't really fly like that. So when he sees Captain Marvel hit the ground out of those two, he's like, "Oh, thank God, it's just Carol." Who cares about her? Or Miss Marvel. So I did find that joke funny. Random stuff like that. Samuel L. Jackson's character was very comedic in this movie, which was kind of strange because the last thing he was in was Secret Invasion. And he was very serious. That series was very dramatic. And here he's a complete opposite. And that's the thing about these movies, right? Like, they'll be in space fighting for their lives, but yet, hey, I got time for a joke. I don't know. Does real world go down like that? Maybe it does. In the midst of all the chaos, maybe it's time to bust out a joke. I don't know. I'd be thinking you're running for your lives or something, but let me know if you guys agree with me about that. So even though I found the musical score somewhat enjoyable, and I did appreciate the runtime, the main and only obvious reason you want to watch this is because of Miss Marvel. The actress did a great job, and the lines she was given all made sense. It all made me laugh, and I think this character is so genuine. I think she's going to do great in the MCU. If you want to know more about Miss Marvel, I could even say pass on the show and watch this movie, but this movie might make you want to go back and watch the show. But with all that aside, it does not take away from all the negatives, from the freaking cats to those people on the planet doing their thing. I respect it. That's their language. Just a little corny for me. It's a little out of the pocket for this type of movie. The acting, the editing, the directing, all could have been so much better. And on top of that, you got the main villain that you're promoting for half the movie, and I just did not buy into it whatsoever. So with all that being said, I hate to do this. You know where I'm going. Absolute trash.
We're a team.
Oh, no, we're not a team.
We're not a team.
I said what I said. I'm sure most reviewers can agree with me, although I'm not counting Marvel out. I'm counting the Marvels out. But Marvel as a company, I do think they can make a great comeback. They just got to take a year or two off and bounce right back. Nothing to worry here. You win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, this is a movie that I probably don't care to watch again. Although, hey, if I want to watch Miss Marvel be hilarious, sure, maybe I'll put it on Disney Plus. But I'm not buying this. I also don't really recommend to go to the theaters to watch this. But, definitely check it out on Disney Plus if you got nothing else to do and you want to procrastinate. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. If you're new here, please subscribe. Help the channel grow. Let's build this family. I'm calling it a family from now on because that's what we are. You feel me? Because you invest time in me, I invest time in you, and we moving it forward. And make sure to like the video. But I like the subscribe button more if you're new here. And think about me if you're talking about movies with someone else. Recommend me to your fans and family. Fans and family, friends and family. See what happens when I go off script? I'm not editing this. We're going to end it right here. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.